Hey, Grant, happy U.S. Open week, College World Series week. That means Father's Day is coming up, too, so 3-1.
Yeah, all that stuff. Phil, I know you like numbers. Most people who like sports like numbers. I was just looking at this yesterday. Arkansas has won 48 games this year in baseball. They won 51 in the seasons of 85, 87, and 89, all of which were College World Series teams for Norm DeBryan. And Dave's high watermark at Arkansas is 50 in 2021. So 3 to tie and 4 to set the school record.
Well, the more wins, the merrier. While you're in the College World Series, you're going to head up. And have you been? Have you been to the old park, the new park, and which one did you like more?
All of those. I'm one who liked the old ballpark better. I liked the neighborhood. Just kind of the minor league baseball feel. I know Mike Irwin disagrees with me about this, but Omaha was reaching a point where they needed. They were kind of threatening them with. Going maybe somewhere else if they didn't build a new ballpark, so they did it. And I am going. I got credentialed yesterday, and was happy to find out that the media hotel is not just an arm and a leg like some of the hotels in the area are, but it's only about a mile from the airport. The media hotel is. So I'm not flying. I'm going to drive up there, and I'm not going to go right away. I mean, I'm sort of counting on Arkansas. Being there long enough to get there for a good part of it. But, looking forward to this thing. And really, Phil, it's interesting that you have 8 new teams this year. Is that right, in the College World Series?
Yeah, I thought I saw it. It's the first time that's happened since 1957, which really is amazing to think that there's always been a repeating team to make it for that long. That's that's a good thing for college baseball. I think it's a good thing that Murray State makes it, that Coastal Carolina's there. Probably a good thing for college baseball that only 2 SEC teams are there too.
Yeah, and as we assess this thing, I mean, I've been saying since before the season, I think Arkansas's got a great chance to win the whole thing this year. And I thought they'd win in 2 last week. They did. But what we're used to knowing 4 or 5 of these teams based on playing them all year. Now this year we know LSU, and I don't know a whole lot about their other teams. For all we know, UCLA maybe some juggernaut, or Arizona or Oregon State. All of a sudden you kind of got an old Pac-12 flavor about this thing, and so I'm sure a lot of people are scrambling to do homework, including the teams. Ordinarily Arkansas would know a great deal about some of these teams, but except for LSU, I guess they really don't, right? So they're doing their homework and figuring out. And I mean, maybe there are teams out there that are a lot better than we think. We think if Arkansas can hold its own in the SEC, then they're going to be really good nationally. And I still think that. I think it based on the 984 fielding percentage. You've got lots of hitters between 320 and 360. You got the really good pitching depth where we didn't even see like McIntyre last week, and so it seems to be in good shape. But there may be some teams up there that surprise us with how good they are.
So Bub and I kicked around this idea in the postgame the other day, and I think we've mentioned it a few times too, that this Arkansas team is built for Omaha. Not every team feels that way. Now, when you hear that phrase, that you're a team that's built for Omaha, which means not to get there, it means you're built to play well while you're there. What is it about this team that might stand out in that feels like they're built for this ballpark and for this, this kind of tournament, the way that it sets up?
Yeah, I think it's the completeness, Phil. I think that they've got what they need in every aspect. That they've got the hitting. Sure, you'd probably like to see a couple of guys maybe hitting a little better right now. I was glad to see Iredale get a couple of hits the other day. Get Kahia Aloy that RBI. He's hitting like something like 170 in his last so many at bats, 6 or 8 games, something like that. But other than that, I mean, Davalon is really hot. Koziel is really hot. I thought Koziel probably, I know he wasn't the MVP of the first regional, but he probably had the most impactful hits in that thing. And he's got this great personality. We see him, as we see these players more and more, some of those personalities come out. I mean, you guys have talked all about last weekend enough already, but the pitching, I think maybe there may be some question about the number of innings that the starters have gone, but it's good to see Root coming off a really good one. And, if somebody isn't on a particular night, like, Gage Wood didn't strike anybody out, so they've got him out of there pretty quickly and went from there. This team hasn't had a whole lot of adversity lately. They've gone 5-0, in this NCAA part. And I guess if I guess they were behind a little bit, but if you get down 3-4-5 nothing, I don't think it would phase this team. I think they would keep their confidence.
I think that we're putting so much focus on this first game, and good reason. I mean, it's a good team, and it's a marquee matchup, but it's only the first game, and you can hit your way out of a loser's bracket. You can also, they'll say you got to hit your way out. You can pitch your way out too. That tests your pitching depth. But those two things, Grant, I think this team is also, and this is another reason why I think they're built for Omaha, because I think they could win coming out of the loser's bracket. They lose Saturday, it's not over. It's not over at all, because if LSU is going to have to use their two aces in the first two games, and then they got to go to somebody else. And after those two aces and Zach Cowan, the closer, look, they got guys with some stuff, but they really haven't been very successful. This is a team that used 5 pitchers for about 85% of their SEC innings. So you get them in a third or fourth game in that bracket play, Grant, I think you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, and really for all the wailing and gnashing of teeth about the draw and it's unfair and it's conspiracy against the SEC, I mean, think about it this way. If it had been Arkansas and LSU in the final two, then you got to win 2 out of 3. It's possible you only have to beat LSU once. If you beat them in the first game, you might not see them again. It's possible. So it could have even worked Arkansas's advantage that way if LSU is the team everyone's worrying about. I know they beat Arkansas 2 out of 3, but it was at their place, and who's to say that Arkansas wouldn't have beaten them 2 out of 3 in Fayetteville? So it's going to be fun. It's going to be, there's a reason they made that the 6:00 game on Saturday night.
Of course they did. All right, so they also got the U.S. Open. Grant, it's at Oakmont, which I think is about an hour away from my neighborhood in Pittsburgh, and I've never been there because I'm not a golf guy. But I've never been to Oakmont. I probably should have been. I remember the U.S. Open was there, I think, in '94, and I had some friends that went too. So what's going to happen this weekend?
Yeah, '94 was Arnold's emotional goodbye, but Billy Horsell, who's injured right now, said the other day he likes Keegan Bradley, Tommy Fleetwood, Corey Connors. He's talking about ball strikers, and the rough is at an all-time high, probably 5 inches. I know there's been a lot of rain there. They're hoping that they could get it fiery even more than it is now. Probably, I love it. To me, I mean, the harder the better. They say that when they play these members things in September and October, the greens are like even faster than they are at the U.S. Open. But I watched Scheffler a while ago, and I would take the field against Scotty Scheffler. I know he's a prohibitive favorite, but last night I watched him make 14 out of 15 5-foot putts, and today he was trying this left to right putt, and he made 8 out of 25. So that's a little bit different, just kind of watching that. I would say someone like Schauffele, who's had a great U.S. Open record, and then Europeans Fleetwood, Straka, and Lowry, maybe somebody from that list right there. Rory seems to be, I don't know, he seems to be in semi-retirement based on his recent statements. Like he's won the career Grand Slam now, and he's kind of taking a little bit of a rest almost. Arkansas's got a couple of kids, Alvaro Ortiz and Echeverria. They're both in it. Ortiz, I think, is in the second group off tomorrow at 5:56 Central. If you're up early, you can watch that. But I can't wait. I mean, I love these. The U.S. Open's kind of gotten away from really. Even last time at Oakmont, they had graduated rough. You get in the rough this time, most people are going to be gouging out of there and taking their medicine. So look for the straight hitter. The guy hits a lot of greens, and I don't even know if I might not even mention the winner yet.
What's graduated rough, Grant? Is it the kind of rough that needs a commencement ceremony?
Yeah, that's right. Tassels. No, it's some of it was 3 inches, and then 2 inches, 3 inches. In other words, the closer you were to the fairway, the less you got penalized. But this is as soon as you're in the rough, and it's all the same height, and it's going to be hard for everybody. And a lot of people think it's things between Schauffele and DeChambeau like last year, but those guys, even those guys, are going to suffer in this rough. I mean, I watched at the PGA. I watched Scheffler miss, I think, 8 of the first 10 fairways or something like that, but he was good enough to overcome that. I don't think he can overcome that at Oakmont, and he'll probably make a liar out of it because he's a great player, but he has not won the U.S. Open yet, and there's a reason.